This is where the powerful part happens. Because until you're willing to slow down and address your thoughts, nothing else will ever shift. If you're new here, welcome. I am so happy that you're here. And just so you know, around here, we keep things real. I don't pretend I have it all figured out. I talk about what's working, what's not, and how I keep showing up anyways. So let's dive in. I honestly cannot remember the last time that I binged. And if you've ever struggled with binge eating, you know how big of a statement that is. And let me be clear. It did not happen because of more discipline. Oh, that is so frustrating when people are like, oh, you just have to have more discipline. No, it happened when I stopped disappearing on myself. So recently I posted a video about not spiraling after eating, and I felt like I wanted to elaborate a little bit more because this is something that I have struggled with most of my life. And it's something that honestly I'm still working through, but it's gotten so much easier, but it still takes practice. Now, listen, I'm not here to try to tell you that I have all of the answers or I have everything figured out, because I am the last person in this world. Actually, you know what? Anybody who tells you that they have all of the answers and have everything figured out, I would say red flag, to be quite frank. I still have my own struggles and real things that I'm still working through in my life. So I'm just simply here to share some of those things that I've been working on. So maybe it can help you too, because I know how lonely that feels. And I want to share that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And there is hope. I have struggled with binge eating for most of my life. And I honestly can say I cannot remember the last time that I binged. And I want to do something here because I want to separate binge eating from overeating. And maybe you've never struggled with binge eating, so you might not fully understand that there is a huge difference between binge eating and overeating, because overeating is something that I am working through, and I use the same tools that how I stopped binge eating. So we're making progress and it takes time. So I'm talking about binge eating like that blacked out feeling where nothing else matters and you eat so much and you finally almost come to and you're like, holy shit, what just happened? That's the spiral that I have learned to stop. And if you're somebody who's never experienced this feeling, you might not fully understand. But if you're somebody who even just overeats sometimes, these principles still apply. So I just want to give you a little bit of a background of my binge eating. I binge like most of my life since I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I used to take the wrappers and I would go hide them and then take out the trash so nobody would know that I ate all of this food. Now, as I've gotten older, it's like I have to go down to the store to go replace the items because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ate that bag of chips. I just ate those cookies and somebody else might want them. And that's what binging was like for me. After those moments, I would feel completely disgusting. I would feel gross. I'd feel bloated. I'd feel defeated. And I would just live in this shame and this guilt that I felt like I could never get out of. And that cycle, that is exactly what I want to talk about, how I have broken, because it is so exhausting and lonely to live in that place and you just want to disappear. So the other day I ate 3 pretty big cookies, not like those tiny ones, but they were like really big. And I ate the first one and it felt satisfying and I was like, oh, that was good. And the next thing I knew, I was like, oh my gosh, I just scarfed down 2 more cookies. And then I felt so gross and I felt disgusting. I had low energy. But here's the thing, years ago, that moment would have sent me into that full freaking spiral. I would have needed something salty after I just ate all that sweet food, and I would have just kept going. Oh, this is the beautiful thing, because I stopped. Those thoughts that tried to creep in, I gave myself 5 seconds and I stopped. Now, here's the truth: you can't fully stop those first thoughts that come into your mind because they're still going to show up. It's like those thoughts of, like, what are you even doing? Like those thoughts of, oh my gosh, you're worthless. Now you're disgusting. Why do you keep eating more? They don't just simply disappear, unfortunately. But the difference now is that I hear those thoughts, and this is big because when I hear those thoughts, I'm able to stop. That's where I get to stop and I ask myself, how does my body actually feel in this moment? And this takes so much freaking pressure. Not pressure, well, it is pressure, but it takes so much freaking practice. So don't feel like you have to have this figured out. I still am working through this all of the time right now in these moments. So I simply get to just take this feeling as information. Wow, I just ate those 3 really big cookies and now I feel really full. Like, I don't have a lot of energy. My stomach doesn't feel good. So I'm not living in that shame anymore. I'm just like aware and I'm taking this as information. I'm like, okay, this is how I feel. I don't like this feeling at all. This is the most beautiful thing because I get to take this as information and I get to make a choice now. And so now I'm not living in this shame and this guilt and this feeling of worthlessness. And I get my power back. And that's where the shift is starting. You guys, I don't know the statistics on this, but like from my experience, 90% of my binge eating, my overeating, starts right here. It starts in my mind and it starts with my thoughts. This is where the powerful part happens because until you're willing to slow down and address your thoughts, nothing else will ever shift. You have to be willing to be aware of your thoughts and be able to say, this thought just doesn't serve me anymore. And this is where the beautiful thing happens because now you get to rewrite your story. So when that thought creeps in, you're not good enough, you get to stop, acknowledge that, hey, I hear you, but that thought doesn't serve me anymore. So now I'm just going to take it as information, and this is how I'm feeling. When I ate those 3 cookies, it didn't feel good. And so I'm just going to try to remember that for next time so that I try not to eat those 3 cookies. You guys, here's the hard truth is that this system does not always work 100% of the time because there's going to be moments where that feeling of disappearing and binge eating is going to just spiral. And you're going to, basically, you're going to fall. You're going to fall into that shame trap and you're going to binge. But here's the thing. The longer you're patient with yourself and the more practice you allow yourself, the better you're going to get. And eventually you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't just binge. Like, I totally could have binged and that would have been a moment that I would have, but I didn't because I heard my thoughts. I stopped. I gave me a moment and I said, you know what? Those thoughts, they don't serve me anymore and I'm done with that. I don't want to feel that way. So I'm going to shift. That's the magic. And that's the moment you stop disappearing on yourself. So the only way things really started to shift for me is when I learned to stop judging myself. And that shame, I stopped allowing that shame to kind of creep in. I stayed present with how I'm feeling and what's going on, and I got curious about it. Because you cannot heal what you keep hiding from. So you have to learn to just stay. Even, especially when it's uncomfortable. So be aware of what thoughts are creeping in. Stay present. Get curious. and rewrite the damn story. Quit telling yourself the same lies, expecting different results. You're not alone, and you can do this. Be patient with yourself. Don't expect change to happen overnight. You have to practice this daily to see change. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want more conversations like this, stick around, subscribe, like this video, comment below. Let's do this together. And always be real.
Be real, she says.